Welcome Electricians. So today we are here with words of the day. And I'm going to start off with the word that I'm going to start off today is induce, right? And we need to write for inductor. So starting off, right? So induce, when something is induced, right? It bring about or give rise, right? Bring about or give rise to an action, right? So that is induce. I-N-D-U-C, induce, right? Induct, right? Admit someone formally in a post or organization, right? So that person who is admitted in that post or organization, the inductee. So the inductee now will be someone who newly welcomed into a special group or club or society, right? So you start from induce, come to induct, to the inductee, right? So we continue going along now. We're coming right now to real electrical engineering and electronic concern to an inductor, right? An inductor, right? All electricians, that's prime electrician. Technicians, electrical engineers, sometimes you have to find out an inductor, know what an inductor is and what it does, right? So here we have it, inductor, a component in an electric or electronic circuit which possesses, right, inductance, right? And what is inductance now? An inductance also, an inductor is also, a coil, a choke, or reactor, right? So the choke and the reactor, they have a different role in play in terms of the application of this, right? So, but all in all, an inductor is really a coil which stores magnetic energy, right? And it builds up energy, it stores energy, it releases that energy according to the force applied to it. So, typical inductor, normally it's like a coil, and this is one inductor here, it's an inductor and this is another inductor. So it's come to a transformer, a simple transformer, right? So when the current, electromagnetic is induced in that coil in turn produces a force, a current which is in opposition to the force that is producing it, right? So that's what basically inductor is, right? It does. So if you follow the principle of Lenz law and also Faraday's law, where electromagnetic induction is concerned, right? Then start from that principle. Lenz law and Faraday's law, you can see the role and inductor play. So it's really just a coil of fire, a coil of fire, wrap around. It can be a metal of low permeability, right? So when that inductor, when that coil of fire is energized, right, and especially in alternating current, when the current flowing in an alternating current inductor back and forth, it changes polarity, right? Because the alternating current goes up and down. So sometimes one pole is positive another time, and another pole is negative. So that's the reason why we're able now to get a transformer based on the change in polarity, right? The magnetic field, that flux that the inductor produces in that inductor is in turn produces a voltage of flux that is in opposition, that opposes that current that actually produces it, right? So that's just also Lenz and Faraday, based on their current back in the 1830s there, they find out there was an inductor work, and eventually we were able to put transform alternating current using transform using alternating eventually AC motors, for which we call that second industrial revolution, right? So this is basically inductors. Inductors now is measured in Henry, and that's the L for it. And then now you have opposition to inductance would be inductive reactance, and that inductive reactance is measured in ohm. And remember now we are dealing now with an AC circuit, because in an AC circuit, it will be three, it's three opposing forces normally. Will be the resistance, the ohm, the inductive reactance, and the capacitive reactance. And all and all three put together, right? You work out the formula, all three put together would equal to impedance, right? Which is the total opposition to the flow of electric current in an AC circuit. A DC circuit, however, would have purely resistance, a pure resistance, meaning where the current is linear. So whatever is produced, it just resistive effect in the circuit as opposed to an AC circuit where you have the inductor, and the capacitance and the resistance, right? So inductor, so inductor, right? There's a kind of wrap around, wrap around a metal, and that inductor, right? You can even use a magnet and oscillate that magnet up and down within the coil, and it produces a voltage, and that voltage that it produces, in turn, is opposite to the one that is producing it, right? So this is now where just breaking down inductor, to start from induce to induct, right? To inductee. Right, and inductee now that person now from a musical standpoint, an entertainer inducted into the rock and roll Hall of Fame for his work that in the field of entertainment. So from time to time, person, prominent musician across the world, right, they were inducted into the rock and roll Hall of Fame, or the writers Hall of Fame. And things like that. There are other prestigious group or academic group and so on, right? So as I said, now we are reading is concerned, that's what I say, it's very important. We're reading is concerned, electricians and youngsters out there, especially again, those who might not get the opportunity to go all the way to university and to pursue that education. It is important that you get a good class of English language, and you read and do your smart kids, and I am imploring, right, youngsters out there, especially millennials and Gen Z, if it's even once a week, you do at least 30 minutes of reading, right, and not just on the phone. But I still follow the traditional way and review it and get my two main newspapers here. This is my Sunday Leader here. I've been doing this over 40 years, right? And this is my the Observer. So I have both of them, right? And years gone by, I would now read every day. I read from front to back, all the pages, everything in them. But I don't do that again, right? But it's still exploring the literature out there, youngsters out there, and people in general, right? Because I said, the state where Jamaica is in now, and so I'm going and probably the other part of the world. So if we don't get involved now with the reading and get able to interpret things for yourself, but think for yourself, think objectively, right? The democracy that we say we cherish, what we are trying to preserve, it is going to be, right? So the education, the reading, right, the language is supposed is for everybody, not for the articulate few. It should really come much low. The other part we will come the articulate majority, right? Because I said the whole the legacy that we need, lasting legacy, right? That Britain leave with us is the language, and I think whatever reparation they are going to get is that we're going to get it from, right? We don't the financial reward won't be coming. So it's important that we have the language, we use it up, right? So whether we are in academia, right, the sciences, right, whether we want to produce, take off the arts, or the sciences, make English, the language, we have a big part in it, right? So I said, no, youngsters know at least every day, if they have 30 minutes, even once a week, get on with the reading, right? And around one by a Sunday Leader who can afford it, right? And you want to observe the you do some reading, And I must say, shout out now to those electricians, those senior electricians, especially Mr. White in Manchester here, and Mr. Ford. But these are two of them that can come to mind right away and do a biling gleaner, regular, or even gleaner. And these are old, and so at least they keep up the tradition. Right? And those are a lot of electricians doing it. Right? Or even the older one, there was a lot of them doing it. Do that reading, because we should, we should be able to, involve in that type of political and social discourse in the society, that, in order to make the life better for everybody. And we should just leave it to a selected few who just have the opportunity to get the education and just work with special interests and just for just themselves and not for the benefit of everybody in the country. So that is it. We are, like I said, we are word of the day, reading, right? Reading concerned for the electricians, aspiring electricians in Jamaica and all over the globe, right? And in Africa, I see a lot of African regional and so forth. So we have to just continue the work of the great, our first national leader, Marcus Garvey, right? And he was a man who was well read, as the impact that he had globally, right? Right, and the world as African, a black man, who ancestors from Africa, and other youngsters can do the same. So that's it for today for my word of the day. Reading is concerned. Get the paper, right? Read it and so forth. Right now we are talking about constitutional reform. I think but a lot of youngsters and people from that more social background should play a big part in it going forward, because it's something that is going to affect nobody, right? Their children, their grandchildren, for years to come. And what you do now is what will determine what will happen in the future. So take care for now.